Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Teenagers Python. In the last video, we made a basic program and printed some shapes, the right angle triangle and a rectangle. In this video, we are going to learn about variables and data types. So let's get started. So I have a small program here. As we discussed yesterday, it just prints this text in the console. So I'll read out this text for you. There was a man called James. He was 50 years old. He really liked the name James, but didn't like being 50. We have a small story here. If I want to change the character name, I need to go here and change it. So I'll change it to John. And I need to change it here also. And I want to change the age of the character. So I need to again go here and change. Like I want to change it to 30. And again I need to come here and change it to 30. It's a difficult task, right? Instead of this, we can use variables. Now what is a variable? Variable is like a container. It holds data. It stores data into it. Changing here is easy. But imagine you wrote a 1,000-line story and now you want to change the name of the character. You need to change it hundreds of times. I think you know how hard it is. So instead of that, we can use a variable. So as I said that it stores data. It acts like a container. So I'll show how can we do that. So here in the first line, so Python needs some pieces of information. That's the name of the variable. We need to give the variable a name, such as I'll give it as character. Just a sec, guys. Character name. Here to separate words, we need to use a underscore, not the space. Character name, and we need to use a equal to symbol to assign a variable to it. So now you need to give the data. So that data is John. But you need to give it in double quotes because it's a string. I'll explain that after the variable. So Python assigns the variable from right to left. So this John is assigned to the variable character name. So this now instead of John, you can use character name. I'll show you how that happens. So I copied this text and here if I remove John, and we need to use a plus symbol to combine it with other text. So here I will add character name. And again in the strings, I'll put comma. Because after the name, we need a comma. But we missed something here, see. We need to put a plus symbol again. So it's like there was a man called character name, which means John. There was a man called John, comma, and next line. So if I run it, it prints the same thing in the console. See guys, it prints John only. So if you put John also, character name also, it's the same thing. So if it's John here, it prints John. Character name, it prints John. So I'll copy this and I'll do the same thing here. So I'll put and a plus sign, character name, plus sign again in the double quotes. I need to put a comma and give a space. And if I run it, it prints the same thing. As you can see, it prints the same thing. Now I'll change the age of the character. So I'll change the age of the character. If I want to change, suppose like 25. So here you need to give it directly. You don't need a double quotes for numbers. I'll explain that after this. So now I can use character age instead of the number. So 30. Now I'll replace this with that. So I'll end the double quotes here and here again. So between that I'll use a plus symbol and character age and plus again. Now it's like this. He was character age, which means 25. He was 25 years old and a full stop. I'll repeat. It prints he was character age, which means 25. He was 25 years old. So if I run it, it says there was a man called John. So as this is a number and this is a text, so in Python numbers and text cannot be combined together. So we need to put this also in double quotes. So if I run it, it prints this same thing. We can actually remove this also, but I'll explain that after explaining what is variables. So there was no space here. So let's add space here. Afterwards, when you need to give a space, and before years, you need to give a space. So if we run it, it prints the same thing. So let's change it over here also. Character age, copy. And here you can remove it. And it here, use a plus sign and character age. And then let's use plus sign again to put a full stop to end our story. So if we run it, you can see that it's printed the same way. So here also let's give space after being. So it prints the same thing. So now if you want to change this to any other name, like let's take James again. So if you just change this to James, and if you want to change the age to like 30, and if we run it, you don't need to edit everything in the paragraph. If you just change these both and run it, it automatically gets changed in all the places wherever it's being used. So this is useful when you in future. Now also it's useful, but not that much. So now let's jump into the data types. So variable can hold different types of data types. So as I said that we can change this to directly number like 30 also. I'll explain how that happens. So if I'll put 30 for now. So there are 4 different types of data types. Number 1 is string. So when you use a double quote and any character inside it is a string. So it prints same thing what you write inside a string. So string is a mixture of characters, numbers, special characters and everything. So it's as simple as that. Now it's like names, special places and those all. So we have next one is a integer. So I hope you know integer. Integer is a number but without a decimal point. That's the second one. Number 1 string, number 2 integer, and number 3 is float. Float means any number with a decimal point like 30.25. So this is a float value. This is a strings value. This is a float value. And if you don't give anything like it, it's just a number. So it's a integer. And the fourth one is called as Boolean value. So what is Boolean value? I'll tell that. So I'll add a property, I'll add a variable is male. So I'm just adding it. So is male. True. Boolean property is true or false. So true. This is a Boolean property. You can write it as false. Only true and false. Boolean properties, that's it. So I hope you got it, guys. So variable can hold different data types. Those are, first one, string. String is something in double quotes which hold characters, numbers and special characters. Next one is integers. Integers are a whole number. And next one is a float, kind of like this. Float is a number with a decimal points. And the last one is Boolean property. That's true or false. So it's as simple as that, guys. So now let's remove this. We don't need this for now. And I'll remove this. So if you directly use 30 here, it shows an error, right? It shows an error because Python doesn't combine all different types of data types together. It should be one. Either it should be string, integer, float or Boolean property. It doesn't allow integer and string. So to use this in between of a string, you need to convert this also into string. Either you put double quotes here. Just a sec, guys. So either you put double quotes here. So if you run, it doesn't show error. It prints it successfully. Or the other option is you keep it as integer, but convert this into a string while writing. So shortcut of string in Python is str. See, it automatically shows here when I keep the cursor here. So you need to write like, I'll remove this. Str in the brackets, you need to put this variable. Same way. Str in the brackets, you need to put this variable. So what's happening here is that you're converting this integer to a string. But you can do it directly by giving double quotes here. That's better actually, but I'm just explaining you to solve the error. So if you put in str and give the variable, so this integer is converted into str. So now the whole sentence is in string. So if you run it, it doesn't show error and it prints successfully. As you can see, it prints successfully. So it's like that. So for now, don't confuse. I'll explain the whole thing once again in short. Now, variable is like a container. It holds data in it. It holds different types of data. There are 4 kinds of data. Important data. There are many which you can learn in future. But for now, there are 4 main types of data. Number 1, string. It's in a double quotes, which is a combination of characters, numbers and special characters. Number 2, integer. Integer is a whole number without any decimal point. Number 3, float. Float value is a number with decimal points, kind of this 30.256841. So it's a value with a decimal point, float. And the last one is a Boolean property, BOOLE, Boolean property. I mean Boolean data type. So it's just true or false. That's it. So this is nothing. And one more thing, this is a tip for you guys. So if you want to just write a line for your understanding, you need to put a hash mark here. So Python doesn't read these lines. It just ignores it and goes to the next line. So if you run it, it doesn't show any error. It's just for our understanding. So it's actually running. You can see that it doesn't make any mistake, any error. So it's like that. And now it printed this only because we are converting it into string. So if you remove string from here and run it, it shows a error. So I removed the string from it and I'm running it. So if I run it, you can see how big error is it. A very big error. So it's like that. So I'll tell you that, I'll explain that again also. You need to convert it into str because Python prints all kind of same data at a time. So it only prints string at a time, or a integer at a time, float at a time, or a boolean property. But it doesn't combine both of them and print. Like it doesn't print string and a integer at a time. So you need to either make this as double quotes, because it changes into string. If you put it in double quotes, it's a string. So anything in double quotes is a string. So it's a string, so it doesn't show an error and it prints successfully. But if you put it in a number, so I'll just put it 30 for now. If it's in a number, so this will become string, integer, and again a string. So Python doesn't accept like that. So I'll explain you something here. String in Python is called as str. It's the shortcut of it. And integer is called as int. So for boolean and float, you don't need that. These both are the important one, str and int. So you need to, I'll remove this from here. You need to write str, open the brackets. Inside the brackets, you need to give that variable. So now it's like he was, this integer is converted into string here. So he was 30 years old, but he didn't like being same. If you remove here again, this would show error. So if you run it, it successfully prints. So it's as simple as that, guys. I hope you got it. If you did not get it, please comment or check the video again. I hope you got it. And I'll show you one more thing. If it's okay, just a sec, guys. I'll make a good setup and come back. So I have changed the code. Now you can take this as an exercise. So if you run it, it shows an error. So solve it. I need the sum of these both numbers. So this 30 is assigned to the variable a and 50 is assigned to the variable b. So I want to print a plus b. So it should be 80 and I need that. So you can take it as an exercise and come back here and check the result. So I'll start. So it's so easy actually. Now you need to convert this string into integer. So integer shortcut is int. So now a is a string. So put str, open the bracket and close the bracket again after the a. So now, actually int, integer. So it's now a is converted into integer. So now this double quotes are gone. So this a 30 is converted into integer. So which means now this equals this. Okay. So now the double quotes are gone and now 50 remains the same way. So 30 plus 50 is 80. So if I run it, it should print the correct one, and it's 80. Okay, and you can try with subtraction also. It works. See, minus 20. So it perfectly works. I hope you got it, guys. That's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you do, please like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon, guys. Thank you.